In Alberta, a snowmobiler stops dead on a frozen trail. A dark figure stands in the snow ahead. No tracks, no movement. In the ruins of a medieval castle, a father develops his photographs and finds a robed silhouette standing where no one had been. In dense woodland, a hiker raises his phone expecting a bear. The proportions are wrong. It never runs. At a tree line in the dead of night, two dogs lock onto the same point in the dark. Their owner looks closer. Multiple pairs of eyes stare back. Unblinking, too tall to be deer. And on a remote Appalachian property, a security camera catches something crawl out of the woods on all fours, then slowly rise to its full height. Different locations, different witnesses, different cameras. The same chilling behavior repeated across years, across countries, across every kind of terrain imaginable. Whatever these things are, they share one defining trait that no explanation has ever fully accounted for. They don't flee when spotted. They watch back. The figure in the cut. In the 1970s, a snowmobiler was riding near Fort McMurray, Alberta, when he entered a narrow cut bordered by trees and frozen brush. The trail was quiet, the snow packed beneath his machine. Then he saw it. Ahead, standing on the white path, was a dark figure. He stopped immediately. The shape was upright, tall and large in size, broad enough to interrupt the clean stretch of snow behind it. It did not wave. It did not crouch. It simply stood there against the pale landscape, a stark silhouette framed by winter. He reached for his 35mm camera and took a single photograph. The film was later developed and enlarged at a professional studio, standard for the time. The image revealed what he remembered: a dark, tall, bipedal figure positioned alone in the snow. No visible tracks leading toward it from the trees. No clear details separating clothing from shadow. He maintains it was not human. The proportions feel wrong. The stance too heavy. The isolation too complete. The trail appears empty around it, except for the figure, standing there, waiting. But this would not be the only time a dark silhouette appeared where no one should have been. The Black Monk of the ruins. A father and his 12-year-old son spend the afternoon exploring the remains of a medieval castle in Kent, photographing shattered towers and hollow corridors for a school project. The ruins feel deserted. Wind scrapes through broken archways. Footsteps echo off ancient stone. No tour groups, no staff, no one dressed in costume. Nothing seems unusual, until later. Back home, while enlarging the photos, the father freezes. In the background of one image, standing beneath a fractured arch, is a tall, dark figure, human in shape, completely still. It appears wrapped in a long black robe that hangs unnaturally straight, swallowing the light around it. No folds, no texture. Where a face should be, there is only shadow, dense and featureless. They are certain the space was empty. The figure stands exactly where they had just been walking. Research into the castle's history uncovers a chilling legend. A monk said to have lived near the grounds in the 12th century, later rumored to haunt the ruins. Visitors have reported glimpsing a black-robed presence near the same stone walls. Skeptics suggest shadow, perspective, pareidolia, but shadows do not hold their shape so cleanly, and this one seems positioned, as if waiting to be noticed. And sometimes the figure doesn't appear in ancient stone but in open wilderness. The shape beyond the trees. A hiker moving off trail through dense woodland notices a large dark form standing in the distance between scattered trees. At first glance, it appears to be a bear, broad, heavy, still against the landscape. He raises his phone and begins recording, expecting ordinary wildlife footage. But as the figure shifts, the outline unsettles him. The proportions seem wrong. The torso appears narrower than a bear's. The posture sits too high, almost upright before settling awkwardly. Its movement lacks the rolling weight typical of a four-legged animal. It does not fully commit to all fours. The figure remains partly obscured by trunks and brush, yet distinct enough to resist easy identification. Later, unsure of what he captured, he shows the footage to a friend, who suggests sharing it online. Speculation follows. Some insist it is a hunter in dark clothing. Others argue the silhouette resembles something far older. In the recording, it never runs. It simply stands, watching from a distance. And sometimes, it isn't just one pair of eyes watching back. The eyes in the woods. Late at night, a Reddit user steps outside to let his dog into the yard. The porch light barely reaches the tree line. Beyond it, only darkness layered between trunks. His parents' dog begins barking first. Sharp, repeated, fixed on the woods. Seconds later, his own dog joins in, both animals staring at the same point in the trees. Uneasy, he lifts his phone and begins recording. That's when he sees multiple sets of shining eyes looking back at him. At first, he assumes it's deer. Deer often freeze when spotted. But deer don't stand so tall. And as his eyes adjust, he notices strange dim shape emerging beneath the shining eyes. He steps closer. They do not retreat. The eyes remain fixed on him, unblinking, steady in the black. Only when he throws a large rock toward them do the shapes shift, the glowing points sliding deeper between trunks without panic. Later, he brightens a frame from the footage. The eyes are still there, watching, and whatever they belonged to did not behave like deer. And on one property deep in Appalachia, something didn't just watch, it crossed the yard. The figure in Appalachia. In a remote stretch of Appalachia, an area known for unexplained creature sightings, emotion alerts trigger a woman's home security system late one night. The camera overlooks a clearing bordered by dense trees. No streetlights, no neighboring houses, just darkness and leaf-covered ground. Then something enters the frame. At first, it moves on all fours. A pale, human-like form crawls into view from the tree line, limbs extended in a deliberate, coordinated rhythm. The posture is low, controlled, not scrambling like an animal but not fully human either. The spine arches slightly as it advances. Skinwalkers, according to legend, are said to move this way. Is this a skinwalker? Midway across the clearing, the figure pauses. Then it rises. The transition is slow and unsettling. From quadrupedal to upright, unfolding to full height. Long limbs, narrow torso, head angled slightly downward. It stands there for a moment, motionless beneath the infrared glare, its pale body almost glowing against the dark woods. No vehicle, no flashlight, no visible clothing. Why approach a remote home like this? Why crawl first and then stand? The footage was reported. No explanation followed. Was it an intruder or something mimicking one? Across frozen trails, ruined castles, forest clearings, darkened tree lines, and isolated yards, the pattern repeats. Upright, watching, unmoved by discovery, sometimes distant, sometimes closer than expected. It does not panic. It does not flee. Whether shadow, misidentification, folklore, or something far stranger, one detail remains consistent. Whatever stands in these frames behaves less like prey and more like something aware of being seen. The story doesn't end here. For more mysteries, join us and subscribe to Beyond the Myth.